it's so sad because then you just are taught that you can't be you.
You can't be the fullness of who you are.
Because no one will like you. No one will want to be around you. Everyone's intimidated or scared or whatever it is, or you're just weird or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Or it knocks your confidence of like, wait, am I a weirdo?
Yeah.
Am I too much? Am I obnoxious? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's important to have these conversations so people know they're not alone. And then you just have to find your people.
Yes. Yes. And we're all out there.
All right, friends, we are back with Jules part 2. We're talking all about her return to Dancing with the Stars, what's next for her in this next phase of life, her dream life, and what that looks like. The value of cultivating what is important for you by yourself rather than relying on others to fill those gaps. The fear of change versus the joy of transformation, and why you should never dim your light for anyone. Enjoy. I know that you were saying like everybody has Lexi in them, and it was funny because I've had my moments where I feel stuff and it's not mine, and you have to have the courage to kind of say it, and that's really scary. And so I had that moment when I was doing an offshoot of Dr. Joe's events, and I was running late. I came into this event last minute, and they were doing a healing on this guy, and I didn't learn the process, but I was like, I have good energy. I'm just going to put good energy over this guy. So I put my hands over him, and I kept feeling this pain, and it was so loud. And I'm like, this is not mine. What is this? And the louder it got, the more I was like, yeah, no, this is definitely not me. But then it's so weird to have that conversation with yourself. And so at the end, I was like, well, what do? Do I say something? He's going to think I'm a weirdo. And so finally I did. And he was like, how did you know? And I was like, well, and he's like, I just flew here from Mexico just for that. I need another opinion on it, whatever. So I think people are going to have such a cool experience reading this because like you said, we're all going to go through the journeys. Yeah. It's just how much of us are going to open up to it.
And trust it. Because I love what you just said. I mean, the fact that this feels like a weird thing, like that's why we're so disconnected to our intuition, which is a gift that we all have, but we're so disconnected to it because we're afraid that people aren't going to believe you. And that is baked in every one of us. But the truth is there's a well of intuition, connection, whether you believe in source and God, whatever it is that you believe in, like there is a well just being ready to pour into you, or it's already there. And the self-doubt, the feeling of people not, believing you, which that can tie into a lot of different things, by the way. Hello, being violated and not standing up for yourself because you're afraid people won't believe you. Like there is so much underneath all of those things that like, no wonder we don't trust ourselves. No wonder we don't like give ourselves the power. We give it to everybody else because are people going to believe us? The truth is, do I believe me? And am I okay with people not believing me? And that's hard. I remember when this whole activation was happening for me, it was right before all of the unraveling, and it was like all this expansion. And I remember I did, this thing that with Dr. John, and it went viral, and it was like, the media got a hold of it, and they were like, she's having an orgasm out of her asshole, and like, she's, and it, because they don't understand it, and they've never experienced it, and so instead of me trying to be like, but wait, it's this, and I have to explain it, but they don't get it, and now I'm going to play small again, and I'm going to shut down and dim what I know to be true. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't need to get other people to understand it. I know it. And like, I feel it. I've experienced it. I've had miracles and magic happen. And I'm just going to continue on. And I don't need to prove myself to anybody or, give the person who has doubt the power.
I love that. I love that.
It's hard. It's really hard to do.
I know.
Because especially, in any industry that has, a voice, platforms, whatever, it's like, I want to get hired still, you know, I want to be the crazy energy girl, you know, but I also am like, but I need to stay true to myself. And that's the only way I'm going to, you know, not just be happy, but feel authentic moving in my world, in my life. And I'm not going to adapt to make other people less uncomfortable.
Oh my God, being in that little box.
Yeah.
It's so claustrophobic. It's so gross, but that's what it is. They want to put you in that little box. And I've been like, get me the frig out of this box. I want nothing to do with this anymore.
I know, you're so inspiring. I love your emails. Whenever I email you and it's like, hey, I've changed how I do things and you can't have access to me. It's not how you say it, but you can't have access to me just because you have my email. You know, and it's like, we are so taught now, and we're such adaptable human beings, by the way. It's a beautiful thing that we can adapt so well, but it's also a scary thing that we can adapt so well, because we lose our own sense of belief system of like, you know, what do I believe? And
it's a numbing a little bit.
And so, and then you just get put into another system and a process of how things are supposed to happen. And actually, my ex-husband used to say it to me all the time. Just because I have a phone doesn't mean you have access to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, but yeah, you do. You know, I would fight back all the time. And he's like, no.
God, it's so true though.
I know.
You know, we had someone on the show years ago, and she was like, one of the things she taught us was just to always say, well, who says?
Yeah.
Who says it's supposed to be like that?
Who are these people? They say this, like, well, they say that. Well, who's they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who says it's supposed to be this way?
Totally.
I had people really, really mad when I put those outgoing emails. So I have this automatic email response that basically says, if you can get your information from any of these people I've listed, then you're not getting a response from me. Very sweetly. It's like, hey, if you're looking for this for the podcast, go to this person. If you're looking for publicity, go to this person. If you're looking for this, go to this person. Because I was becoming the person that just had to handle everyone else's needs all day and then never got to any of my own work, and I couldn't accomplish anything. And then the reality was my mom had a brain tumor. I got a brain tumor. I had all this stuff happen. I'm like, I need to shut off all the noise, all the invites, all the, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Which I'd been doing for 20 years. I had a lot of karma points racked up at that point. I'm like, okay, it's got to be about like insular now. But who says you need to answer everybody's emails? Who says you have to answer every text on time? Like, who says flowers have to go out immediately? So one of the things after brain surgery, I'm like, people are going to have to wait, and they might get there 2 weeks later, but they're going to get there. I'm going to get them to you, but they have to be in a way where it's not going to kill me so that I can do this. I'm not going to kill myself to be perfect for everybody anymore. And, the other thing that I remembered that I had forgotten before I had my brain fart was the astrology. So we had an astrologer on the show, and we did a session after, and she had like the 4 sections, like earth, air,
fire, water.
Fire and water. And we kind of walked around to each of them or whatever. And when we looked at all my stuff, I had no earth. I had no idea. That's why I struggle so much with like organization. And trust me, Jules, I work really hard at it.
Me too.
I work, oh my God, the freaking systems.
I know.
Right? But it's not my thing. Once I understood that, I felt so free.
Totally. Again, knowledge is power. Once you have the acknowledgement of what it is, and by the way, not having that, you probably beat yourself up of like, you know, so that's a wound. I own and I accept my wound that I have no earth, which helps, like really hurts me with my organization. But once you know it, then you're like, everything we never knew. How are you supposed to know until you know?
Yes.
And so finding that is so powerful, and then you're like, okay, that's who I am. But
you can accept yourself for that like flaw, let's say.
Yeah, and now I can either decide how to handle it. I can either learn, because you're never too old to learn something new. It empowers you so much. You can have people around you to fill into that earth. You know, like whenever I hire people.
I hire people on their astrology charts.
I'm like, astrology, or also I need earth in my life, you know? Because I am all water and air. I can talk about high concepts and shit for days. Clearly, that's why you got a podcast. But like, earth? Like, how can I create a system and a structure? And, you know, and again, those are outside sources, but outside sources aren't bad if you know that you're hiring from a healthy place, not from a wounded place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny because that's when I started asking people for their astrology charts. I
Yeah.
was like,
I
I
mean,
don't need more of me's. I need these people over here.
Exactly. You want to be balanced, right? And that's what the quiz is for the elemental thing. I have people take the elemental quiz. I have them take their Enneagram test. I have them do the love languages because I also want to be able to give them feedback and like make them feel really good of how they receive love too. And so I have people take all the quizzes so I can understand and like, are we going to be a good match? It's not about being good or bad or right or wrong. Are we a good match?
Yes.
You know, and I think that that's good for friendships. I think it's good for, you know, your coworkers. I think it's good in romantic relationships. It's not about did this work or not because it was right or wrong, or am I good enough? Are they good enough? It's like, are we a match?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really big key that I've actually learned in the last few years.
I love that we found the example for everybody to understand owning it and accepting it.
Yes.
Because sometimes these concepts, even though it sounds so simple, it's really hard to apply to your life.
It is. And unless you can go through a process to experience it, it's hearing it is like, what in the hell are these two ladies talking about?
Yeah.
It's hard to grasp, you know?
Yeah. I
And
know,
so-
because Kevin sometimes is like, wait, where are you?
Exactly.
Like, I'm way up here. And he's like, wait, bring it down. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Bring it back to the 3D, not the 5D.
Yeah. So he helps me kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple of fun things. So you have Everything We Never Knew, the novel.
Yes.
And you already told us there are other parts that you're ready to go. Your life as is now obviously was set up for you to help people, I think, was set up to help people heal through your art. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think I never really set out for that to happen, or like, I think I'm a healer, which is actually in Lexi's thing. She thinks she needs to become a healer because she's got all these gifts. I think at one point I was like, oh my gosh, is this what I'm supposed to do?
I thought the same thing.
And then she has to go on her own healing journey. And once I went on my own healing journey, I'm like, I don't really have to do anything. I just have to be me, and it's going to be a ripple effect. And I'm going to find that the things that I enjoy creating and doing have that encoded in it anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think as people on this planet, I think when you live in service of yourself, you and others and the world, like it has to start from yourself. You know, like I think you can't serve others in the world. I went to the World Economic Forum in Davos, and everybody's trying to, you know, heal the world and the planet and everything. And I'm like, but who are the people trying to make these changes for the world? So disconnected.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you have to start here first, because then it makes it so much easier to connect with the people and then know what the solution is, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like going backwards in, like, that's tough.
Yeah. Well, there's just, that's why nothing's happened.
I mean,
It's true.
Yeah, it's tough.
There's a disconnect for a reason.
Yeah.
So you're coming back to Dancing with the Stars this season.
I am.
How fun is that for you?
It's amazing. I mean, this has been such a through line of home and belonging for me, which belonging is one of my deepest wounds, you know, and I know that, and I own it, and I accept it, and I have to find belonging within myself. And I also feel such a belonging at Dancing with the Stars. Mm-hmm. So why not put myself in that position to thrive, you know? And dancing, when I look at Dancing with the Stars, if you think about it, yes, it's a dancing show, but it's a transformation show.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%.
And I'm like, no wonder we found each other. Mm-hmm. Because what you think is a novel, a fiction, fun, epic novel, is a transformational story. What you think is a dance competition show is a transformational journey. And like that is, I have chills.
Yeah.
That is my through line. I want to be a part of transforming and helping people find their own trust and their own voice in their own transformation. Not that I have the answers, but whatever I can share to ignite what they already know, to be true, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. I love it. I think you're there for yourself too. So like imagine if belonging is your deepest wound and you're in a place where you know you belong. That's where that like is magic. That's where you can just be like, wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you can be your biggest, most self.
I love that you said that too. Your biggest, your most self. Because I think for a long time, there's so much there that you're like, ooh, it's too much. You know, we all say that, right? Can somebody hold the amount that is me, which is a lot?
Yeah.
And instead of dimming, I can be all of it. And like, those are the places I want to belong. And Dancing with the Stars is that, not just for me, but for everybody that comes on the show. They get to be the fullest version of themselves and discover along the way. And people are rooting for them.
Yeah.
You know, it's really freaking cool.
It was amazing. I know.
I love
the
show.
I feel like I've had the same thing, but I feel like a lot of people, and that's why these themes are so universal for people. It's really hard for any of us to get to be who we are. I remember being on a very, very, very big show and someone squeezing my wrist so meanly and hard. And this is a beloved TV person telling me to shut up because I was too big. I was so happy. I was so excited. I just loved like what I was doing and just kept extinguishing me because this person never got to where they wanted to be, even though they really matriculated to a very high level anyway. It just in their mind wasn't where they wanted to be.
Of course. How tormented are they, by the way?
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah. And so it's so sad because then you just are taught that you can't be you.
You can't be the fullness of who you are.
Because no one will like you. No one will want to be around you. Everyone's intimidated or scared or whatever it is, or you're just weird or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Or it knocks your confidence of like, wait, am I a weirdo?
Yeah.
Am I too much? Am I obnoxious? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's important to have these conversations so people know they're not alone. And then you just have to find your people.
Yes. Yes. And we're all out there. And we are supposed to be unique and different, you know? And that's why like we fill the wholeness of each other by being different.
Yeah.
We've you know, we're going to go back to the elements, but like not if we were all air, we freaking flow away. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's like we need the differences in people, and some people are so loud and magnetic, and some people are silent and still, and they hold the space, and that is their superpower.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember like when people would be quiet or more in their earth, and they would just be observing. I felt uncomfortable because I was like, I want them to be louder because they need to be seen, and they're like, no. I'm seen. I really like this. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't know what that feels like. I only know what it feels like to be big, you know? So,
that's so funny.
Yeah,
it's
so
true.
It is. So,
okay.
yeah.
So Dancing with the Stars, you're back hosting. Derek's going to be back judging.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you have coming up?
You know, it's so interesting because I have obviously like a gazillion projects going at one time always because I'm a creator. It's like I'm talent and I'm a creator, and like this is the doer and this is the like creator. And so talent wise, I have Dancing with the Stars. That's what I'm doing. I'm always creating underneath, you know, the surface of like projects and stuff. But I think the thing that I'm really leaning into right now is, because I don't really have a lot of earth in my life, I want to do things that cultivate that. I want more structure. You know, when I was married, I would cook every night, and I would do things, and I would like have structure, because Brooks was very much an earth-based person, and so he brought beautiful structure into my life. And when, you know, we got divorced, I went back into, well, I don't want to cook by myself, and I don't want to do this. But I'm like, no, I need to create that earth for myself, not just hire the the people around me or date the people around me that are earth. Like I need to cultivate that myself.
I like that. I'll cultivate with you. I need more earth.
I know. So I'm like, I want to figure out a routine. I want to go to the farmers markets on
Wait,
like
no, I've been saying that too.
I was like, I want to do this every week. I want to meet the people that are there. I want to do meal prep. And like when you do physical things like that with your hands and you're actually getting food and you're cooking, like that's all earth, right? Or
but it's also creative.
But it's creative and connection, going and meeting people and talking to them, like that's it's the gamut, right? But I know for me, I can just work constantly because I love to create. I'm like, no. I need to like create a routine that allows for the fullness of my life, not just the parts that I'm good at.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we put together...
Should we be farmers market buddies?
We're going to be farmers market buddies.
Okay.
And then we do some meal that day. Whether it's a lunch or a dinner, we can commit to when we're in town. We do it.
Okay.
And we invite a few friends and have some fun.
I love it. I used to do that probably 15 years ago. Every month, I would get like a group of girls and each one of us would bring like 2 people that we were like, let's have everybody meet because these are good people to meet. And it was such a cool thing that I used to do with my girlfriend Lauren. And like, I'm like, we haven't done that in so long. So maybe we'll start doing that.
I love it.
I love it.
It'd be so fun.
I'm here in the fall because of Dancing with the Stars. So
okay.
Let's do it.
Well, here we go.
I love this. This makes my heart happy.
Me too. It's funny because I was researching the farmers markets earlier this year, and Kevin and I went with Athena one day. I was like, this is so cool. And I got this like, homemade mixed butters of like almond butters and, walnuts and whatever. And we bought all this stuff, but we had like the wrong carriage set up for Athena. And we were like, oh my God, everyone else has like the trolley thing or whatever. We're like, oh, we look like the amateurs. So now we have our stuff and we're like, okay, but Kevin's, that's not his thing. He doesn't like really love it. You guys know Way is my go-to for hair care. I talk about it all the time. I really, really just love how lightweight these products are and how well they work with my crazy hair. As we're transitioning into fall, of course, my favorite hack is to make sure that my hair stays hydrated and frizz-free all day. So I use the hair oil on the tips of my hair. I also add the leave-in conditioner if it does feel a little bit like frizz is going to come on because it's a little humid here or there. But it really does work wonders. I use it on my wet ends and let it air dry, or use my diffuser, and it really helps pump it up to this level. So friends, if you are eager to elevate your hair care routine, you can try out Way products. Just head over to theway.com, THEOUAI. If you use the promo code Heal Squad, you'll get 15% off. And if you're not sure what products to get for your hair type, you can always take their hair quiz and they'll match the products to your hair type. Jules, are you watching any TV?
I have not watched any TV. Can you give me some suggestions? This is part of my Earth thing that I got to do.
Okay. Since baby, we've been really bad because we're tired.
Yeah.
And we put baby to sleep and then we go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I've also really tried to eliminate all the blue light exposure.
Yes.
So I don't want to be watching TV at night.
Yes.
So the few times I do, it's 90 Day Fiancé.
Okay.
Do you know anything about this?
No.
I'm going to change your life. This is the best show on television.
Okay, wait, I love this. Because I also love Love on the Spectrum. Is it sort of like where it's just heartwarming?
Love on the Spectrum?
Maria, I'm about to change your life.
Really?
Oh, it's the most heartwarming. Yeah, it's autistic people on the spectrum.
Okay.
That find love.
Okay.
It is so beautiful.
What network is it on?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
Well, we'll go on our little Roku and hit Love
Yeah.
on. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll watch Love on the Spectrum.
90
Day Fiancé is like the guiltiest pleasure ever.
Okay, I love.
But not watching a lot of other stuff. Have you seen any good movies lately?
I have not.
Okay. Oh, I have one to recommend from our dear friend Tony Robbins, actually.
Oh, tell us.
So Tony produced Sound of Freedom. Did you ever see Sound of Freedom?
I actually did see that because I saw it right when it came out.
Okay.
Or no, before it came out. What's the gentleman's name that it's based on his life?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Tim Ballard.
Yes, Tim Ballard. He actually came and did a screening for us, so I did watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to admittedly say I didn't see it because it was right when Athena was born.
Yeah, that's hard.
And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Knowing the content. So he just produced another one called City of Dreams.
Oh, okay.
And it's about modern day slavery in America. And so it's a really beautiful, beautiful film. It's painful at times. I cried. But it's very, very important for people to see. Because what's going on just around us that we don't even realize is really, really scary, and you kind of have to be able to know and look out for it. So I think you'll be entertained if you just want to watch it for that reason.
It's called City of Dreams?
City of Dreams.
Is it trafficking? Is it like, I mean, lots of things, I'm sure.
I mean, listen, it's, here's the tagline. The City of Dreams, premiering on Labor Day, is an adrenaline-fueled, heroic thriller that unveils the unforgettable true story of Jesus, a young boy whose dreams of soccer stardom turned into a nightmare when he's smuggled across the border and sold into slavery to a sweatshop in downtown LA. This inspiring true story chronicles the unbelievable story about a boy's courageous battle to free himself and others from the brutal grasp of slavery.
Wow.
So my first move to LA, I was working for Channel 1 News, and I was doing a whole story on Restavix. And basically the same thing. They would go to Port-au-Prince in Haiti, promise this family a better life for this kid. They take the kid, and now the kid's not just in whatever country they took them from. They're taking them to Florida, to New York, and these kids are sold into slavery, and they're hidden in these homes, in these buildings, whatever. And so it's really, really sad and really, really painful. Like I said, you can watch it like a movie, and I don't watch those kinds of movies anymore because I don't watch anything dark. It's got to be funny or inspiring at this point because I've just had enough. But this was that important of a movie, and I think that it will spawn a really important conversation for people to keep their eyes open to what's going on out there.
Yes.
So TV, movies, favorite healing modality? Outside of Kinergy, which everyone should try Kinergy.
Yes, it's all online. You can do that there. I think it's all about, it's the inward and outward. It's the elemental work, but then it's also working with Dr. John Amaral, and doing the energy work and the expansion. And I actually work with him and Christina, his wife, and we do, they do their retreats throughout the year, but it's also educational too. So different themes of things. So one retreat was about, not the whole thing was about this, but there was a piece of it that was about soul fragmentation. And then, this other one was all about, your heart and the different heart chakras, but then also the higher chakras that are connected to the heart. And so it's a lot of education as well. I'm a student by nature. I just love to learn. Even when it comes to my performing, I would rather be in a studio in rehearsal than on stage. That is my favorite part. So
funny. This is why we're friends. I love learning. That's why I do this every day, because I love learning.
Yes. And also when you learn, you get to share, and that's connection, and that's definitely one of my main values is how do I connect with people even more? And so I would say working with Dr. John, which he's now creating, it hasn't come out yet, but he's putting out a way for other people to learn, so that it's not just that he has to work on you, it's you can work on yourself, and you can learn about energy, so it's not this foreign thing that feels mystical. It's there, it's real.
Yeah. I feel like you have a new pet.
I do. Yes.
What do you have now?
I have a little baby girl named Sunny.
Sunny.
And yes, she's a golden retriever and a cocker spaniel mix, and she is such a little personality. I mean, she's so filled with love. She will hug you. She will greet every single person with a hug. She'll come over and literally wrap her arms around your leg. And then she's also, I like to call her, because her name is Sunny, Sunifer. because she will just get her little like golden retriever nose and like just show her little teeth, and like she's like, but she's
Goldens don't show their teeth.
oh, they do, and they scrunch their nose like this, and then they're like,
really?
yeah.
Oh, I always thought they were like the angel of all
they
angels.
They are, but they're little like dopey little like
Secret devils.
yeah, and they will just destroy everything. So she'll like come over and she'll like show me that she's about to do something naughty, and she'll lift up her little like nose, and then I'm like, what are you doing? And she'll be like,
oh my
it's
God.
so stinking cute. You have to meet her. She's heaven.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. Last time I was at your house, we played holiday games.
Oh yeah,
that was
that's
so
right.
much fun.
Yes. Oh, so fun. Game nights are so fun.
know.
That's what I mean. Like, I always say this too. It's like when you think of transformation, or you think of like all these things, it can feel so intimidating and daunting, and like there's something wrong and you have to fix it and all that stuff. But I always try to change or say something differently of the fear of change versus the joy of transformation. It's like when we, go through all this stuff, we're also having game nights. We're also, going to the farmer's market. We're playing with Sunifer. Like there is this ebb and flow of like, it doesn't all have to be so heavy. There can also be so much levity and light and play. And the more we can create it as a play experience, the less daunting I think it can become. And that's why, again, important. The book, it's play, it's a world that you can dive into that feels inviting versus intimidating.
Okay, last question.
Yes.
What is your life dream now? Like, where do you see yourself in the next few years? What is your kind of dream for your life? Like career, obviously you're always going to have amazing things happening. And
yeah, I think for me, it's less, I'm a master manifester, so I have to be careful what I ask for because I think it's more about what do I want to feel versus what do I want to, and what do I want to experience and feel versus like what do I want to get, know? And so, of course, like I would love as like the vision, I'd love to have a family and a partner and create a life like that. But I also am like, what does that feel like? And how can I embody that feeling now so that
it doesn't feel like it's missing?
It doesn't feel like it's missing. And also, if I'm living in it that way, what will come to me is what is best for my highest self versus what I think I should have.
Yeah.
Because I can manifest that. I have manifested that. But that's from the limited mindset that I have, not the expanse and the energy of living into it. So that's what I've been trying to do recently is like, how do I want to feel and what's the experience and what would that feeling be versus what is it that I see for myself?
So cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Easier said than done, but yeah.
Well, I think I've been doing this lately where once I start to see like dark thoughts creep in, I remember my training with Dr. Joe. It's like, what do I want? Oh no, I want this, or I want to feel like that. Or I start to focus on all the things that not just physical things that I want, but all the things I want.
Yeah.
And it just shifts everything. So it's really important to remember that you have the power to create in your mind whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then the body and the brain doesn't really know the difference, or the brain doesn't know the difference between perception and reality. So if you're living in those feelings of, I have this very full feeling of life where I'm maternal and I'm connected and all these things, then the right things are going to come in. But that only takes, living in the depths of hell to get out of that and to write about it and then to get to the other side of it and to be like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I actually sent a voice note to Tony the other day and I was like, hey, just for context, this has kind of been what's happening. And he was like, I'm really sorry that you've gone through this internal and external hell, but you know what? That's the crucible of change. And, you either self-destruct or you transform, and it sounds like you transformed. So, it's like, that is the whole goal, right? It's like, we can transform. We can.
Yeah. We can do it.
Yeah.
I love you, Jules.
I love you, Maria.
So great to have you.
You too.
And I'm sure we'll do many more. But guys, the book is called Everything We Never Knew. It's amazing. You have so many great quotes, by the way, here from Jay Shetty. At one point in our lives, we're all challenged to leave behind the person we are expected to be and become who we truly are. This book is a beautiful story about the courage to be curious and change from within. I like how he said at some point we're challenged to leave behind the person we're expected to be.
Yes.
We're challenged. Doesn't mean we're going to do it.
Doesn't mean we're going to accept that challenge.
And the thing is, I feel like 90% of people don't accept the challenge because it's too scary. No one wants to blow up their life. Everybody wants to just keep that little box.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on
blowing up my life.
Blowing up your life.
And creating this book.
And creating this book and creating the life that you really want.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy to see you thriving and doing the things that you love.
Thank you. Me too. And I adore you. Thanks for having me.
All right. All right, friends, that is the end of our two-part conversation with Julianne Hough. I hope you guys will get her book, Everything We Never Knew. It's an amazing novel and really, just like I said, such a great way to weave your personal experiences and your personal struggles into a story that will then relate to an audience that needs that information and that guidance and that support and that feeling of not being alone with the things that we're struggling with. Because like she said, we're all struggling with different versions of it, but it's all the same. So I hope you enjoyed it. In the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or MariaMenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.